Today, we are going to expose the #1 gym mistake that once you fix it will transform you from a floppy Magikarp into a ferocious Gyarados. So that, of course, is Pokemon talk. I have 6 children after all, for reaching your true and amazing potential. And indeed, there is one very serious mistake that holds people back from building consistently as much strength and lean muscle as they would like to have. In fact, this mistake is pretty well researched. I don't even think it's a serious point of contention that this is probably the #1 reason people do not make consistent progress in the gym. Fortunately, the mistake is about as simple to fix as it is to state, so let's get right to it. So, what is the #1 mistake people make in the gym? Well, of course, there's lots of mistakes people make, but when it comes to strength and muscle, the #1 mistake, I think, hands down, is a lack of proper intensity. I don't mean that people aren't working hard or that they don't feel like their workouts are tough or anything like that. I mean that they are just literally not pushing themselves close enough to failure to get the sort of stimulus they need to build the sort of strength and muscle that they actually desire. Here's the truth. People are seriously bad at estimating how much they are actually capable of. Consistently, people quit sets far before they're even within what we might call the effective rep zone. And the effective rep zone is when your reps start to really count towards producing strength and muscle. When they're the sorts of reps that, because they are right at or very close to your limits, actually cause you to expand your limits and grow, not just stronger, but more muscular. The truth is, a lot of the reps leading up to those effective reps are relatively low stimulus. They're not worthless, but they're just more of a warm-up for the main event. And the main event are those reps where you are within 1 to 3 reps of what I would call technical failure, where you just really can't move the weight anymore without some sort of serious compromise of technique. Now, here is why this is important and why it's a mistake. Most people quit their sets because they think they are close to failure, when in reality, they aren't anywhere close. And look, you don't need the research to confirm this, although there's very good research on this. It's actually fairly common sense. I'm sure you can reflect on your own experience when you've been pushing through a set and you think, oh yeah, I'm pretty much cooked, and you're about to quit, but then lo and behold, some attractive woman walks by, or your favorite Creed song starts blasting, and you get like 15 more reps. So it turns out you not only were not cooked, you weren't even close to being cooked. You felt like you were done, but then something about the environment changed. Maybe somebody just came over and yelled at you, say, yo bro, you got this, bro. Yo bro, you got this, bro. And then suddenly you have like 10 more reps. What that tells you is that where you were estimating yourself to be is just not close to where you actually are. You had way more left in the tank than you gave yourself credit for. Now, like I said, this is well established, and it's also common sense. We know that if we go and we yell at our buddies, we crank the Creed up, we change the environment, suddenly people can just crank out more reps than they would have otherwise. So the #1 mistake that people make, to reiterate, is they aren't using enough intensity, meaning they are not pushing close enough to failure to make the reps as effective as they can be to actually grow. So what now is the fix? So here's the truth. You don't need to train to failure to get stronger, to build lean muscle. You just need to train close to failure. So a lot of times people are recommended to not train to failure because it's unnecessary, or maybe the risk-reward profile is not so hot. But here I want to recommend that there is a strategic use of training to failure that can help us to fix the mistake we're talking about. And it's the use of what I would call a calibration set. And the idea of a calibration set is just, why can't I say the word calibration? And the use of this calibration set is to just give you the right perspective of what you're actually capable of, so that way you know where to land with the rest of your sets. And it can really be as simple as this. You do a proper warm-up, and then the first set you do is a set to technical failure. Now, technical failure is where you can no longer perform a quality rep without some sort of serious compensation. Something about the pattern changes, you start doing something weird to get the weight up. Whereas absolute failure is where the weight doesn't move at all, period. Now, sometimes these things converge, sometimes not. I'm concerned about technical failure. So say you're doing military presses, your first set will be a set to where you cannot perform any more presses at all. You go to technical failure. Now, why is this helpful? It is helpful because it's honest, it's clean, and it's objective. Either the weight moves or it doesn't. There's no more guessing about you being close to failure and being way off the mark when you still had 5, 10, maybe even 15 reps in the tank. Okay, so you have your calibration set done, but that doesn't mean that every set you do after that should be to failure. It doesn't have to be. It should just be within 1 to 3 reps of what you just performed. So say you perform that first set it calibrates you, and you got 12 reps, then all you want to do after that is just make sure you're within 1 to 3 reps. So anywhere from 9 to 12 is going to be your sweet spot. You're going to be close enough to failure at that point that you will get the effective reps in and the stimulus you need to grow. Now, this isn't even necessary long term. After you do this for a while and you make use of these initial sets to failure, you will be recalibrated in such a sense that you will probably have a much better intuition of when you are actually close to failure. Here's something else to keep in mind when training to failure. Be smart about it and pick exercises where what happens is the weight or the movement simply stops and you're not just getting crushed under a bar with nobody to help you, or of course make intelligent use of a spotter. Training to failure can have certain risks, but it depends on the movement and also the wider environment of whether you have a spotter or not. So just be intelligent. You can train to failure safely and prudently, and occasionally it can be a very powerful tool to make sure that you're actually hitting the right intensity to get the results that you want from your workout. My name is Pat Flynn. Strong on.